Hello, everyone. Hello from Greece. Thank you, Rob, for the invitation. It feels great to be invited and to be included among so many inspiring, truly inspiring women of ELT. So today in this session, I would like to revisit the issue of women as teachers and as mothers, and why teaching was always seen as a very fit profession for women. So in this session, I would like to take you first into the idea of what happened in the absolute past. So nowadays we think of teachers as women, but back then women were not included in education. Girls were homeschooled. They were not allowed to go to school. They were not expected to make any money. Therefore, they did not have to have teachers. Their education came from their mothers, their grandmothers. It was a kind of apprenticeship in a way. And therefore, there was no reason to have women teachers, female teachers. Teachers were men, and they were men of profession. But as years passed, it was made obvious that some women had to work. Obviously, the women who worked were not the ones that could afford expensive private education. They were working class women, and they did menial jobs like wash people's clothes or be maids in other people's house. They also worked in the industry, the kind of industry that was there. But there was this class, this group of women who had a slightly better status, and they had received some kind of education, and they could work, and girls were starting to go into schools, and who better to educate them rather than those older girls who were also waiting for their lives to start. Was it a career for those lady teachers? Well, obviously not. For those women, both the students and the teachers, teaching and learning were not meant to bring money and become an aim in life. I do believe that those teachers felt that they had a sacred mission in life, but their mission was not to open those young girls' eyes to the world and make them live better lives than their mothers. They had a very sacred mission indeed, to normalize things, to inculcate morality and all the conventions, and well, prepare the ladies to become housewives and housekeepers. So instead of breaking ground, they were more like solidifying the existing ground. And the teachers were equally interested in getting married themselves. They didn't feel that they would be teaching for the rest of their lives. In a play written in 1887 by August Strindberg entitled The Father explains why his daughter should become a teacher, and why this is a great profession for a woman who is going to become a mother at some point in her life. So why teaching? I think, first of all, it was the safety. It was a very closely guarded profession, away from all the dangerous men or all the possibilities for corruption or anything. Also, it was close to other women, because the other women teaching women would be the colleagues of the teacher. Men would be present, but they would be either older, they would be married, they would be priests, because religion and education were so close. In a way, women were chosen not because of their professional efficacy. They were not taken so seriously. They were taken as seriously as their students in a way. They were chosen because if children leave home, that comfortable nest, they should be met by a motherly figure, somebody who is warm and affectionate and can give love and can be a caregiver. Well, hardly, because those women were not really very warm, and education wasn't very positive or very humanistic in its sense. And as mentioned before, those teachers were actually waiting to find a husband, and teaching was just what they were doing while killing time. It could not be seen as a future mission in life. So this is the idea of the person, of the teacher, of the miss who never got married, who never became anyone's Mrs. That was kind of an amputation and a loss of status. The dress suggests a very closely guarded profession. They are dressed from head to toe and no skin is shown. The hair is pulled behind. They seem dry. They seem angry, permanently stern and stiff, unforgiving. And I think education was very unforgiving back then. Mistakes counted. They were very important. They were not stepping stones to learning, but stepping stones to hell of sorts. And this idea of the spinster put forward the idea of the woman, the bloodless woman of indeterminate age, who is prematurely aged because no man has given her attention, sex, and because of lack of sex, she is, dying out slowly. When marriage came, fortunately, obviously the teacher and the student found new missions in life. And the greatest mission was being a happy housewife and taking care of the household. Interestingly enough, the money was always little. I think we've done a good job of keeping that money little still. I don't think there was ever a time when teachers were considered as making money or making a sustainable living and earning money that actually represented the amount of time they put into working. So what happened? What kind of lessons did those teachers teach? This is very interesting. Well, obviously, those pretty little heads could not be worried too much. They couldn't be given a lot of homework and they couldn't understand heavy subjects. So they were given the kind of education that would be useful to them. French, piano, singing, an array of crafts like embroidering and knitting and sewing, and anything that would prepare them to become clever housewives. In a way, this was not a kind of education that was preparing them for the hardships of life or for fending for themselves. I don't think any of them would welcome the idea of fending for themselves forever. Contrary to that, they were just becoming eligible wives. In 1808, in the Greek city of Volos, in central Greece, an inspiring education expert, Alexandros Delmousos, was appointed headmaster of the girls' school there. And he thought, what better idea, being a firm believer in gender equality, let's introduce mathematics. And riots ensued because parents complained that their girls were vomiting and suffering from headaches because their little brains could not suffer and withstand mathematics. Have we covered any ground? I think pictures speak for themselves. Right now, I don't see any spinsters. I see women who are handling their own career. They can get married, not get married, have relationships, and at the same time manage to train, retrain, go out of teaching, go into further teaching, decide not to teach, but at the same time we sit on academic boards of universities, write educational programs, and we should also look at the ladies that we help produce and the role models that we set. Right now girls get into education and they study because they know that they have to be self-sufficient and independent, no matter what their life, their love life is going to be like, or if they get married. We also teach all the subjects right now, but if we look at the to-do list, it is kind of long. Firstly, because the picture I have presented is partial. It's not worldwide. It's from some countries in the world. We need to look into education and gender equality in education for teachers and for learners. And we need to look into teachers as professionals without considering their gender. I think that male teachers make excellent young learner teachers because it's efficacy we are looking for, not motherly figures, not warmth in education. We are all equal of giving and able of giving warmth. At the same time, I think we need to stop looking at the word teacher as she and think of the word teacher as we. So happy International Women's Day 2018, and thank you for this invitation. It was lovely to be here.